Hey yo, shut your mouth. Game time. The gridiron. Shut your mouth, podcasting. Yards, touchdowns. Shut your mouth, podcasting. First round draft pick. Believe we got stats, kid. Quarterback sacking. 100-yard dashing.
Welcome to the Sim Podcast. I'm your co-host Eric, and I'm always joined by my co-host Ron. What up, Ron?
What's going on?
You know what we do? We talk about the National Football League on a weekly basis, including the playoffs. Ron, this is our opening, not technically our opening of the season happened during draft, but this is where we get to the nitty-gritty.
That's right.
So
season's here.
Here. Hard Knocks is here. It's August 6th, and we will have some NFL news, but today's show is strictly dedicated to the Pittsburgh Steelers roster.
Let's do it.
Ron, where are you with your Pittsburgh Steelers? Because at first you were mad, then you were happy, now you're mad, now you accepted Aaron Rodgers. So where are you?
You know what? I'm happy. I love the moves that we made. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. I have some hope for the season, not just the regular season, but more importantly, the playoffs. We'll talk about that as well a little bit later. 9
years is a long time.
Yeah. Listen, I'm excited. This is about as excited as I've been to a start of the season in a few years. So I think it's going to be, what I've seen so far, it's been promising.
Well, I like your enthusiasm, but before we jump into the roster, we'll just quickly go over what we've seen so far at the start of the season, because people are still in training camps. Tomorrow is the first game, preseason game?
Second, yeah. Besides the Hall of Fame game last week, I forgot about.
And the Hall of Fame was, let's be honest, Trey Lance looked great against 6th, 5th people that are not going to make the team, basically. So, I don't know. I guess, what's his name? Mike Tirico and the other guy, they had to tuck him up. They're they didn't have anybody. Trey Lance. I was like, dude, this is his 4th team.
Yeah, it's true. And it's preseason.
Yeah.
Can't read too much into it. But what I will say is Harbaugh, as a coach, if anyone can get anything out of Trey Lance, I trust Harbaugh to be able to turn his career around.
Yeah, and I did get some Colin Kaepernick kind of vibes, but it was because let's be honest, it was because it was Harbaugh and it was a black quarterback. That was it. But it didn't go too deep. It was very high level. Other than that, anything suspicious that you've seen so far in the training camps?
Not really. Everything is going as expected. Steelers are pretty much standard. You kind of know how things are going to go with that team. They don't do anything too drastic. Although this year, their off season has been, it wasn't the norm, let's say. But camp's been going good. I've been keeping up with the rest of the league too. Looks like most teams are, their teams are doing well. There hasn't been any major injuries yet, I guess, outside of Stafford and his back. I think for the most part, most teams are relatively healthy.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything, that was eye-opening where I was like, oh man, that team is screwed. It's just people, not making it through training because of injury.
Yeah.
Listen, we're not robots, and I said that a couple of years back. People are gonna get hurt.
Yeah. And
when I was watching that Hard Knocks today, I was just like, yes, the rookies are gonna go down because they don't know, they don't know how to pace themselves. So it happens all the time. And on the next episode, we'll talk about the New York Giants, but this episode is strictly about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ron, and let's just jump right into it. Let's go into the roster grades. Ron, what did you give the quarterbacks?
Yeah, the quarterback room, fourth year in a row, I think we have a new starter at the helm. So I think the room itself is good. I gave them a B plus, and maybe that's a little bit optimistic, but I think Aaron Rodgers still has it. Mason Rudolph, he's familiar with Arthur Smith in our system, so I'm glad to have him back. Will Howard, things look promising with him this offseason. He got hurt yesterday. He's going to miss the rest of the preseason, which hurts, but I think for the most part, I like the quarterback room. I'm confident, if Rodgers can stay healthy, and even if he doesn't, even if he gets hurt and Mason has to go in there, I think we have enough to make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, I went with the C plus. I was teetering on giving this room a B overall, but then the only thing that concerns me is Rodgers' age. That's the only thing that I'm just like, he's like a NFL hit away from missing half the season, basically.
Let me ask you something, because I know we're going to go through QB ratings at some point, but where would you see Rodgers ranked in the NFL right now for quarterbacks? Is he in the top 10 anymore?
No, he's not a top 10.
Top 20?
I would think he's in the top 15.
Okay.
Top 15, top 20. He's definitely not a top 10, even though, when I looked at his numbers from the Jets the last year, he did put up 3,800 passing yards.
Yeah.
So he still has the juice, right?
Yeah, 28 touchdowns too, top of it.
But the East Division is not the same as the North Division. He's going to get hit. That's just Baltimore has a good defense. Even Cleveland has a good defense. Can't say that about Cincinnati, but,
right.
He's going to get hit.
Yeah.
That's just... I'm sorry, that's just going to happen.
Yeah, I still think, though, there's questions about how much he has left in the tank and how good is he still. And I think, the consensus for the most part, what I've heard and saw is that people still think he's in the top 15, which I think is good. If he was lower 10, then I'd be like, well, then, maybe it needs to be more of a quarterback competition, and he shouldn't just be playing because he's Aaron Rodgers. But he's head and shoulders above any of the other quarterbacks that we have on the roster. So I think he still has a lot left in the tank.
No, he still has juice left, but the thing also that worries me is the baggage that comes with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's been quiet though. He's fallen in line.
Oh, you like that, huh?
Yeah. Well, I like
no
that.
Drama.
No drama.
Wait until he starts getting the Pittsburgh interviews.
Even today, he's doing interviews and stuff, and even today he said, "Listen, if Tomlin wants me to play in the preseason, play this first week, I'm playing." He already admitted this is the most work he's done in the offseason, but he's fine with it. He is falling in line and in following Tomlin's guidance. So,
I can't wait for his next Netflix to come out right in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
People will be like, did you really say that in that Netflix? Yeah, I did. I don't like Pittsburgh. I just don't like it. I don't know. Listen, this is his age, and the baggage is a huge question mark. That's why I went with a C+. Ron, what'd you give the running back room?
The running back room, I gave them a B. I think it is similar to what they had last year. I know we lost Najee. I think there's a lot to like about Jalen Warren. They drafted Caleb Johnson in the 3rd round this year. They have some high expectations for him. Kenneth Gainwell looked really good in camp. He's going to be our 3rd down receiving back. So it's a strong running back room. I think there's certain things about Najee they're going to miss, but I'm comfortable with that room. I gave them a solid B.
Yeah, I went with a C because, again, DK Metcalf is what you want a receiver to be, but he's getting a little old.
You talking about receivers or running backs?
Sorry, running backs. I skipped one.
Yeah.
Running backs, I went with a C. Jalen Warren is unproven. He's going to get a starter for the first time, so he's going to get a lot of running yards. I don't know. Caleb Johnson, I know he was a stud in college, but this is not college. So, yeah. What are we doing here? Same thing with Kenneth Gainwell. Like, what are we doing here? He's just very unproven, Jalen Warren. Like, as a starter, as a common guy to relieve, Najee once in a while, he was great. But I want to see that in action. That's why I went with the C. Ron, I'm going to do wide receivers because I started. DK Metcalf, to me, is great, but then he's kind of up there in age. Kind of the same thing as Aaron Rodgers. And we'll talk about our statistic predictions, but DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, who was a Patriot, injured. I don't know how good he's going to be. Like, do you guys need another guy? Calvin Austin, again, he's kind of a journeyman, been there, done that. Other than DK Metcalf, who do you trust in this group?
I trust Calvin. He's been on our team the entire time, right? It's his, fourth season now. So, he is going to have a solid season. He's having an okay camp, decent camp. But he was good for us last year, right? Caught 550 yards, 36 receptions. I think those numbers go up, with Rodgers throwing the ball. So he's solid. Yeah. Is there potentially an opportunity to bring somebody else in? Maybe, right? Because behind DK is a lot of folks that are unproven, but
Scotty Miller, he's not really a wide guy. He's more of a possession receiver, right?
Yeah, we'll see if he even makes the team at this point. But Roman Wilson was a rookie last year. He missed the entire, most of the season. He played like 2 games, didn't even have a reception, I don't think. But, I think he's looked good in camp too. But going back to DK for a sec, I think he's still as good as George Pickens was last year. I think he can have a similar impact to what George did for us, if not even better. I think he's going to, and we'll get to stats at the end, but I think he's going to have a career year.
Well, he's definitely has a better quarterback, better than, Wilson. Better than what was his quarterback before? He's with the Raiders now.
Gino.
So he's gonna have a better quarterback. Now, will he have 90 receptions? That's his career high. I don't think so, but that's just me. I just don't think that he's gonna have 90. He averages in like the 60s, 70s. That's about is average. I don't know, because again, I don't know what kind of offense they're going to be. If it's a running offense, he's definitely not going to have 90. If he mixes it up, we don't know that because we haven't seen preseason. It's very limited what we've seen, so I don't know. I don't trust that room. I don't trust it. Ron, what'd you give the tight ends?
I gave him a solid A. I think they might be the best tight end room in the NFL. Just looking at their entire group, you got Freiermuth, who just signed an extension. They traded, for Jonnu Smith. They have Darnell Washington, who is just a huge mountain of a man, but is actually looking better this offseason so far in terms of his agility and being able to catch passes and stuff. So, and then Connor Hayward, we'll see if he makes the team. But I think the tight end room is probably one of the best, if not the best in the league.
I wouldn't say I give them a B. I'd say they're the best. I don't know what other tight end group I can compare them to. I like the Jonnu Smith pickup. I don't know why Miami just let him go like that.
We traded. It was a trade.
It was a trade. Well, Arthur Smith knows what he was doing. Still, maybe there's another person that Miami likes. He had a good season last year.
Yeah.
With Miami, so I don't know why
they trade. So it was Minkah Fitzpatrick. We sent him to the Dolphins. For Jonnu and Jalen Ramsey. That was the trade. And I think it might be like a late round pick or some crap like that too. So
why would Miami do that trade?
I can't speak for Miami. I know why the Steelers did it, and I'm happy with their roster moves, which I know is one of the questions for later. But I think, like I said, it makes the tight end room great. That's what Arthur Smith wants. His offense goes through our tight ends. So it's like the perfect match to have him and Freiermuth back there, and then Washington, as another blocker out there. It's a solid unit.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid unit. That's why I went with a B. Ron, what did you give the offensive line?
I gave them a C, which is average. Lots of young players, that still have to develop and grow. Broderick Jones, our right tackle last year, is moving over to his left side that he should be most comfortable with, but he's the one that has the biggest question mark, I think. We'll see. A lot's riding on them having a good season. They've been okay so far. Not great, but they've been okay in camp. We'll see, though, when we get to live action here. But I gave them a C. I think it can go either way. I think, we're relying heavily on these young cats to grow. And, if they can, be cohesive this season and gel, then I think the offense can do well.
Yeah, I also gave them a C. And that's the thing that worries me about this offensive line is they're developing, but are they going to hold up against that division? And are they going to keep Aaron Rodgers upright? Because if Aaron Rodgers is on the floor and Mason Rudolph have to come in, or, Skylar Thompson has to come in, that's not good. That's not good. And I think last year you guys averaged, 17 points a game?
Yes, something close to that. Yeah, 17 point something.
So in order to break that 9-year record of no playoffs wins, you guys need to be in the 20s. And the offensive line is just average right now. Could it be better? I don't know. What's the deal with your center, Zach Frazier? Is he any good?
Oh, man, he is real good. A lot of people in the league have him as with the top 5 center in the NFL already. He's a stud. He needed a center. He fell in our laps in the second round, and he's a stud.
But is this his first year or second year?
Second year.
Second year. Okay. Let's move on to the defense run. What did you give the linebackers?
Easy, A+. Without a doubt, there's not a better linebacking group in the NFL at all. And it starts with TJ, obviously, and he got his big contract. But then you have Alex Highsmith, you have Nick Herbig, who can probably be a star on a different team if he was had his opportunity. You got our middle linebackers, Wilson, Patrick Queen, Robinson. He's looked good in camp. Holcomb is trying to make a mountain comeback here. And then you got the rookie, Jack Sawyer, that we drafted from Ohio State. He's been a beast in camp, too. So we probably have too many outside linebackers. It's a good problem to have. But, there's lots of depth, lots of talent. The best linebacker group in the NFL, hands down.
I also went with an A, but having said that, I just want to remind you, they were good last year as well. But people decided to just run on them because they had a lead. They couldn't score points. Once they couldn't rush the passer, it was just, let's run it down their throats. So, and we'll talk about, the inside the line, defensive line, but there are great linebackers when it comes to rushing, when it comes to tackling. I'm just worried that if the Steelers don't get ahead and have the other team play catch up, you could be like,
yeah,
and that's my only concern.
Yeah, the offense can't be like they were last year. They have to be able to score points, right? You can't be playing from behind, getting off the slow starts all the time. Put your defense in a bad situation every single game. You know, and even if they're the best defense in the league, which I think they will be, you know, I still think the offense has to be better than they were last year.
Ron, what'd you give the cornerback?
Yeah, another A+ here. I think arguably, again, the best secondary in the NFL. Joey Porter Jr. is his third year. He's been fantastic so far. He looks really good in camp. They brought in Deshaun Elliott. He's 31, I think about to be 32, but, I think he led the league in interceptions last year. Darius Slay. Deshaun Elliott, this is the safety. He's, I think he had like 100 tackles last year. So he's solid there. And like I said, you traded for Jalen Ramsey. He's obviously going to, we'll see where he plays. I think he'll play some safety, play some nickelback. Our cornerbacks are, amazing. I wouldn't be shocked if they're the best cornerback room in the NFL, despite their age.
I like Joey Porter Jr. Darius Slay. I want to see more. I want to see him, in action before. But I went with what did I go with? I think I went with a C because to give him a C+.
C+ as well.
Yeah. So it could have been a B. I just want to see a lot more interaction. I want to see what they do with Jalen Ramsey, whether he actually plays corner or he plays safety, or I want to see what they do to him, because if you got somebody who's a shutdown corner, you would think that's where he's going, right? So
we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see how they use him.
I mean, why would you trade for him if you're not going to put him at corner?
Well, they're going to put him all over the place. That's what he's, good at. He's an intelligent defensive back. He'll have his opportunity playing all over the field, and be able to blitz the quarterback, from time to time. Go out there and cover, receivers and tight ends, when he needs to. I think that's the reason we traded for him, is because of his position flexibility, being able to play in multiple areas.
So what did you give the safeties?
Safeties, I dropped them a little bit. I have them as a B right now. I started to talk about Deshaun Elliott, right? I think he's had a really good year last year, made Mika Fitzpatrick invisible, to be quite honest with you. Now they brought in Thornhill. We'll see how he does. They also signed Chuck Clark this offseason. Two of them are kind of competing for that free safety. I think they'll be rotating regardless, because I think, like I said, Ramsey will be playing some safety throughout the year too. So, I gave them, a solid, B, and I think they're going to be good. Just not, I wouldn't call them like the top upper echelon of the league though.
Yeah, I went with the C with those safeties because Thornton, he wasn't like a shutdown corner with Cleveland. He only played 11 games, so where are the other 6 games?
He rotated, did a lot of rotations.
He played a full season when he was at Kansas City multiple times, but I don't know what happened with Cleveland. So he's there to compete, I guess. But I went with a C. I don't know if I feel comfortable with the safety that they have there. Ron, what'd you do for the defensive line?
A-. We got Cameron Hayward, right, is back. I think he's one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. Keanu Benton, this is his third year. He needs to step up a little bit. I think last year was a little bit of a disappointment, but he has loads of talent. He drafted Derek Harmon in the first round this year, and they really like him. He's definitely going to be a starter for us this year. And then Yahya Black, another defensive tackle and defensive end that they brought in, I think, in the 6th round this year. He's looked really good in camp as well. This is a strong unit. I think they're going to be improved and better than they were last year, and they need to be, especially down the stretch. Down the stretch, if you remember, they got ran on, by the Ravens. at the end of the season. I don't think that's going to happen. They have more depth this season. I think they addressed it. They saw that there was an issue there and they addressed it this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I went with an A, but Cameron Hayward is still a question mark. He's getting up there in age. Towards the end, he was breathing pretty hard in those games.
It's his best season last year.
And he was like out of gas. He was just game 16, game 17. He looked like, especially in the playoffs, he looked gassed. So I'm like, dude, I know you're a leader in the locker room, even in the community, but sometimes you just gotta walk away. I don't know if he retires after the season, but I just know, like, even if he's not on the team, I think this is your second and third option is still good. Yes, they're still young, but I think they're still good. So yeah, I stick it with the A, but Cameron Hayward is, how old is he now? 30 something?
35, I believe.
Yeah, and this is not a skill position at 35. This is every snap you're gonna hit somebody. So
yeah, but I mean that's a position that you can play into your 30s, your late 30s even.
I mean they rotate him. He's not there every game, but yeah, and that was only my concern. It was like, if the offense doesn't score, a lot of teams are gonna run on them. So watch out. Ron, what you do for the kickers?
Yeah, that was easy too. A+, best kicker in the league, I think, with Boswell. And then arguably the best two punters in the league, potentially, right? In Cameron Johnson, who was hurt last year, and then Corliss Waitman, who came in for us, when Cameron Johnson got hurt. Those are two great punters. They're having a unbelievable competition. No one's talking about it because it's punters, but I think who was it? Cameron Johnson, I believe, who had like a 70-yard punt today in practice. So, I think between, field goals and punting, those guys are excellent.
Yeah, I went with a B, but you're right. This should be an A. I mean, you got good kicking team. You got a good kicker in Johnson, Boswell. Even, your well, we'll talk about returners because that is when I went low. But yeah, I think A is deserving. What did you do for the returners?
Yeah, I gave them a C. It's Calvin Austin will be handling the punt return duties. We don't know yet for kickoff return. Now, last year they had Cordell Patterson returning kicks. So that was a huge mistake. I could see why they did it last year because of the new kickoff rules. He's one of the best kick returners probably in his NFL history, but it didn't work at all. So I don't know what the kickoff team will look like. But I'm confident in Calvin Austin to return punts for sure. But I gave him a solid C.
I went with a D because getting rid of Patterson means that they don't know.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't know, and that to me, having uncertainty equals a D to me. That means that you don't know. Scotty Miller.
No, he's not.
I mean, maybe he has good hands, but he's not a returner, right?
It'll be one of the running backs probably.
For kickoffs?
Yeah, maybe Gainwell. Maybe they'll put Caleb back there. We'll see. I don't know who they're going to choose, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I just don't know. So, Ron, overall, what did you give this team's roster?
I gave them a B+. I think it's a solid roster. I think the defense, I think I hinted this earlier, they're going to be a top 5 defense. I would argue they're probably the top defense in the NFL. Their offense has, some question marks, around the offensive line about, around the depth of their receiving room. And then, we'll see about Aaron Rodgers if he can stay upright, and he still has the arm talent. We'll see how that goes. But it's a solid, I gave him a B+. I think, they have the ability, if I was to rank this team, to be in the top 12 in the NFL in terms of team rankings.
So that's like middle of the pack.
A little better than middle of the pack.
So you think that how many teams make it? 16?
Yeah.
So you think that they're going to make the playoffs, or are they going to win?
That's going to be the question mark. We'll see.
Yeah, I give them a B-. I think that they have an excellent defense again when we did this last year. There's just a lot of question marks for me on like the offensive line and the wide receivers. That to me is a question mark. We know that Aaron Rodgers still has some juice left. I just don't know about his age. I mean, he's 40-something now, right? 41. Yeah, listen, every game is going to be like a prayer. Like, is this dude going to get hurt this game?
Yeah.
So we'll see. And this is my favorite part, the schedule predictions. So we'll start off Sunday, September 7th. This is 1 o'clock game at the New York Jets. Ron, what's your prediction?
That's a win. We're going to start off the season with a win at the Jets.
Yeah, that I gave him a W too. We already know that Fields is not ready. Aaron Glenn as a new head coach. Maybe, do you think the Jets get that new head coach lift?
No.
Because I've seen a couple of predictions that they come in third. I was like, okay, wow.
I can see that.
I can see that too, but I mean, a lot of things would have to go wrong with the Patriots in Miami. This is the second game, Sunday, September 14th, 1 o'clock game. This is the home opener versus Seattle. Ron, what's your prediction?
Got to win. I see a win right here.
Yeah, I see a win too. I like Mike McDonald's, but who's a better QB, Aaron Rodgers or Darnold?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's all about the QB here, and this is a dub. Third game, and we'll be at this game Sunday, September 21st, 1 o'clock. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we have a bet. It's a bottle of preferred alcohol that the Patriots best the Steelers in win totals. Right now, Vegas has them at 11 for the Patriots. What, I don't know what.
8.5.
8.5
for both.
Oh, really?
Teams, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. 11 games that they favored.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But 8.5 for both. So I'm just laying it out there. What do you have for this game, Ron?
Yeah, this is a win. Again, I think the Steelers have a better roster. We'll talk about the Patriots in a couple weeks, but Patriots are doing some good things too. But it's a game the Steelers should win in terms of like talent. I'm giving them a win.
See, this is where I think the Steelers have a better defense. There's still some question marks about the offense, and I think that the fact that New England has a better offensive coordinator than the Steelers might be the edge. So I got the Steelers losing this game. Not by a blowout. This is going to be very close because we're not talking about Bill Belichick dominating Mike Tomlin again. We're talking about Bravo. Game 4. This is going to be England game. 9:30 a.m. on the 28th. This is really a road game for both teams, but Minnesota is on the road. Ron, what'd you give him?
This is our loss. I'm sorry, no, I gave them a win here. You threw me off with the UK. They're actually in Dublin.
Oh, they're in Dublin. Okay.
Yeah, Ireland. So I gave them a win. I had them losing initially because I do like Minnesota coaching. I like some of the talent there. I think, Jordan Addison, the receiver, he got suspended 3 games. This will be his first game back, so he'll be able to play. They got a lot of talent. However, they got a rookie quarterback. What's essentially a rookie quarterback because he didn't play last year. I don't see the Steelers defense losing and Tomlin losing to, a first-year player in J.J. McCarthy. So I think they'll come back with a win and start the season 4-0.
Yeah, I give him a win too because it's J.J. McCarthy, and I think I sent you that ranking for Madden. They got J.J. McCarthy at 73. He hasn't played a snap.
Yeah.
how can you give him a 7-3? Hasn't played a snap yet. So,
Yeah.
this should be a dub for the Steelers. They got a bye week because I guess the NFL says, hey, if you play over 6, we'll give you a bye week. So we go to Game 6, Sunday, October 12th, 1 p.m. at home versus Cleveland. Ron, what'd you give them?
I'm giving the Steelers a win.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland don't even have a quarterback yet.
Yet we'll figure out how to split, or they'll definitely take at least one because that's what they do for whatever reason against us. But I'm giving them a win here for this first game.
Yeah, I'm giving them a win too. I think that it's gonna. They haven't figured it out yet. Whether it's gonna be Flacco, Sanders, who they got, Huntley now.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe Pickett will be back by then. I don't know, but this is just they don't know what they're doing. Even though they have a pretty good defense, they don't know what they're doing on offense. This is gonna be our Thursday game, 4 days later, Ron. 8:15, October 16th, at Cincinnati. Ron, what'd you give them?
I gave them a win here, and this is going to be a great game. Cincinnati games are tough. Cincinnati probably has will probably have the best offense or one of the best offenses in the league, but their defense is terrible. Hendricks still doesn't have a contract as of today, so that's their best defensive player, and he's not even, as of right now, in camp. So, defense again is going to be horrendous. I think our defense will be able to slow them down a bit, and we'll get the win.
I would have given Steelers the win, but this is week 7. I'm thinking maybe Cincinnati has figured out that they have a pretty bad defense and they have some holes to fill. I gave them a loss here. I think Cincy figures it out. I mean, it was week 7. You should know by then, hey, our defense is not that good. Maybe we should do this.
What's the answer, though? Because they had no answer all of last year.
No, they got hot at the end. And
yeah, but they're still giving up 35 points a game.
Well, they were scoring 37. So I don't know if they can score 37 against Steelers,
right.
But I think Steelers lose this one. Game 8, Sunday, October 26th. It's a Sunday night game at home versus Green Bay. Ron, what'd you give them?
I gave them a loss here, right? This is their first loss of the season that I have. So I have them starting 6-1 here. Green Bay is a talented team on both sides of the ball. I gave them their first loss here.
Yeah, this is a loss too. Not because I still think that Rodgers is a better quarterback than Love. I just feel like Green Bay has better weapons than the Steelers, so I gave them a loss on this one. Sunday, November 2nd. This is at 1 o'clock game versus your arch nemesis, the Colts, at home. Ron, what'd you give them?
I'm giving them a W. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be for the Colts. Regardless, we can't lose these type of games.
I feel like you say that every year.
Yeah, it's true.
And they lose every year.
They'll win. Well, they'll win this one. Because they should.
Yeah, I gave them a W too. Cam Ward, maybe the number 1 pick, doesn't mean he's a good quarterback.
No, he's for Tennessee, not the.
Sorry. What's his name? Richardson. And
then they got
Daniel Jones. Worse. Now I feel even worse.
Daniel Jones might be the starter.
Now I feel even more worse. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a win. 10th game, November 9th at 1 o'clock at the Chargers. Ron, what'd you give them?
I gave them their second loss right here. I think the Chargers, we played them, we won last year. They played us tough though. I think they're an improved team, and they are a sneaky team. The Chargers will be. I might put some money down on them winning the Super Bowl this year. I think they're going to be that good. But I have the Steelers losing to the Chargers.
Yeah, I have the Steelers losing to the Chargers. So I'm going to go on the limb and say that by week 10, Steelers hate Aaron Rodgers. Right now,
what do you have them at this point?
I have them with 4 losses.
Yeah, well, six wins. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins.
5 wins, 4 losses. So I think by this time, the whole city is against Aaron Rodgers, and he just wants to leave already. He's like, I'm gonna get my stats, be a Hall of Fame, be in the Hall of Fame, first pick. But I don't know. Everything looks rosy right now, but we'll see. Anyways, yeah, so I got them losing against the Chargers. Game 11. This is Sunday, November 16th. At home, 1 o'clock Cincinnati. Ron, what'd you give them?
I gave them a loss, so I have them eventually splitting with Cincinnati. So this one I has marked down as a loss at home.
I got them as a win because, again, this is going to be a tough game. I feel like by this time, Cincinnati, if Joe Burrows is upright, they're probably like with Kansas City scoring just at will. If the Steelers haven't figured it out by week 12, I don't know what to say. But I have them winning this game. I think they're going to score a lot of points. What do you have Sunday, November 23rd, 1 p.m. at Chicago?
A win.
So you don't trust the Chicago quarterback at all?
I do. I think he's going to have a good season. I think Chicago will have a good year. Just not against the Steelers in our defense. If our defense is healthy, it will force Caleb into making some mistakes. And we should be able to come out, with a win.
Yeah, I got the Steelers winning this one. Listen, if they do the same thing that they did last year, even though they have they have Ben Johnson now as a new head coach, I don't know if he's going to have the same offense. He's going to have Caleb clicking. I don't know. It's only August 6th, so we haven't even seen the preseason games. I just know that Steelers should win this one handily. Late November, it's going to be cold in Chicago. If they're not a running team, I'm sorry. This is going to be the Steelers to take. Game 13, Sunday, November 30th, 4:25 at home against Josh Allen's Buffalo. What do you got?
Giving them a loss. Listen, I think Josh Allen, the Bills, they're a tough team. Always going to be a tough out. He's going to be MVP candidate for sure. And I think, when it comes to beating teams like Buffalo, I don't know if we're quite there yet. We're definitely not at their level. So I'm giving the Steelers a loss here.
Yeah, I'm also giving the Steelers a loss. I mean, listen, the Pittsburgh's going to be against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to look at this game and be like, I'm just as good as Josh Allen. Look at me. I can toss it long. Look at me. But you guys don't have the wide receivers to do that. I'm not saying that Buffalo does, but at least Buffalo has Josh Allen, MVP, reigning MVP. Yeah, this is going to be a loss for the Steelers. Sunday, game 14, December 7th at 1 p.m. at Baltimore. What do you got?
Got a loss here. Got us eventually splitting, but I'm giving the Steelers a loss here.
I'm giving the Steelers a win here. I think you mentioned this a couple of years ago. They play them tough, and it's true. They always play them tough. Whether they split here or they split at home versus Baltimore, I give them a W here. Next one is a Monday night game, December 15th, 8:15 start at home versus Miami. What'd you give them?
A W. I think Miami, I don't know if they know what they're doing, to be quite honest with you. I'm giving the Steelers an easy W here.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Even this is Miami in Pennsylvania in middle December. Tua has already come out and said he doesn't like playing in cold weather. This is going to be an automatic W. I can already see the Miami players huddling up against the bench. that hot air thing. They're just like, oh man, it's so cold. Give me a break. It's football. Sunday, December 21st, 4:15 at Detroit. Ron, what'd you give them?
I'm giving them a loss. One of the top teams in the NFC, probably one of the top teams in the NFL as well. I'm giving the Steelers a loss here.
I'm giving the Steelers a loss too. I know Ben Johnson is not there anymore, but the players are still there. The system, I'm sure they just next man up. Who was closest to Ben Johnson? That's all they did. And they still got Dan Campbell. Who knew? Bite the knees off guy. So yeah, I still like him. This is Game 17, Sunday, December 28th at 1 p.m. at Cleveland. Ron, what'd you give him, the split?
Yep, I gave him the split, so I got him losing this one.
I'm actually give them a dub. I think that they sweep the season series against Cleveland. I think Cleveland, because of the uncertainty right now with the QBs, I have them winning this game, believe it or not. So, yeah, I have Cleveland late December. They might be on vacation already. This is the game 18. I saw it as a flex game. Baltimore at home. Ron, this is a split.
Yep, another split here. So I got them winning this one to end the season with 10 wins, 10-7.
I got them losing this one and ending the season at 9-8. So I got them going over the 8.5 because it's Mike Tomlin. So where the only real split that we have is that New England game.
Yeah, for the most part, I think that's where our disagreements came. Everything else, as far as like the teams, we have the same teams like winning. It's just like the splits. I think we had them like different, right? But for the most part, we were pretty good. So 10-7 is what I finished with. You have them right at 9-8.
Yeah, I have them 9-8. I think that we're talking about Tomlin. He's gonna figure it out. I think 9-8 gets them in the playoffs too. So I'm not mad. Do you think they come in first or second in that division?
I think 10-7 will get them second in that division. I think, still going to be Baltimore's division. They'll own it. So I think 10-7 is good enough for second though.
And we'll do the rest of the teams when we do over and unders, but I think you're right. I think Baltimore comes in first, then Pittsburgh second, Cincinnati and Cleveland last. Because it's Cleveland that we're talking about. So yeah. All right, Ron. Let's go on to our stat predictions, and let's start with Aaron Rodgers. Where do you see him finishing overall?
Yeah, so as far as yards, just to go through his predictions, I got him at 3,400 yards, 28 touchdown passes, and 8 interceptions. I think he's going to have a really good season. That's probably an average season for him, or below average season, to be quite honest, for him. Last year, what you said would probably be a down year, right? Threw for 38, 97, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and that was a down year. I have him somewhat matching those numbers, just a little bit lower in yards because, again, we are going to run the ball a lot more. But I think he's going to, have a decent season.
See, I'm not as optimistic as you are. I think that last year, to be honest, I think last year's group was better than the Steelers receivers. I think Garrett Wilson, Lazard, even out of retirement, what's his name, for the Packers, the receiver for the Packers, I always looked at his eyes because they were a different color. I can't remember. He had his boys, basically. He had his old crew back together.
Yeah.
And he still, put up numbers. I don't think he's going to be the same. These are different receivers that he's working with. So I went with 3,000 yards, 20 passing TDs, and 10 interceptions. I think that sometimes he's just going to throw some receivers under the bus. So be ready for that. Be ready for that.
Do you know how many years has he played? 17, 18 years, something like that. He's only thrown double digits interception like 3 or 4 times. That's it. Like, this guy takes care of the football, does not make mistakes. I I think that'll continue this year. And I think he'll elevate the receiving room. That's what good quarterbacks do. I think with the Jets, if you look at last year, it was more than just Rodgers and the receivers. I think that team was dysfunctional. I don't even know. You can name the offensive coordinator on the Jets, could you? I can't.
But see, this is the thing, that he wasn't in a division that was so stacked.
Yeah, but
like AFC East wasn't stacked division. I mean, you had Buffalo, and then you had everybody else that wasn't not a good defense.
But the Jets
when he was with Green Bay,
no idea what they're doing. That's why the coach
was not
got fired.
good. Detroit was not good. This is what I mean. It's not just him playing good. It's the other teams that he's playing against. This is a more like elevated. I just don't think that he's going to have the same amount of success that you predict.
I'm looking for a season where he had less than like 20 or less touchdowns, and I am just not.
Yeah, the competition was weak.
Yeah, but you're talking about a quarterback that's throwing 28, 30, 40 touchdowns.
And he's 41 years old.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, we'll see.
20 touchdowns would be a little bit of a disappointment if he can only get us to 20.
I agree.
If you think about Russell Wilson, probably had 17 last year. Let me see his stats real quick. Wilson had 16 touchdowns last year, passing. So, I mean, 20 would be a disappointment.
And he came in late, right? He came in like week 5 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
What do you have for the running backs?
It'll be interesting. You mentioned Jaylen Warren being the starter. I think these guys are going to like split their carries. So I got Warren at 850 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns rushing, 300 yards receiving, and 2 receiving touchdowns, which is a pretty solid year. I don't think he'll get to 1,000. Najee did that, his entire career with the Steelers. I don't know if he's durable enough to survive, as a starter for all 17 games. We'll see. So I kind of have him at 850 rushing at this point. But I have a good year for Caleb. We'll go over his stats in a second here, too.
Yeah, I have Jaylen Warren about 800, 4 rushing TDs, 200 yards receivers, and 2 touchdown receiving. I think that it'll come down to whether or not he's reliable, right? So he's his first year starter. I don't know if is he a 3-down back?
Oh yeah. He led our team in receptions last year.
So I don't know how much breathing room for Caleb Johnson, if at all. It depends. If Jaylen Warren comes out, which I highly, highly doubt that he's not going to give it his all, but I don't see, and we'll talk about Caleb Johnson, I don't see his numbers jumping off the page. What'd you get for Caleb Johnson?
Yeah, I think he's going to have a solid year, too. He's looked pretty good in camp. I think he's certainly getting a feel for what Steeler football looks like, taking his lumps. But I got him at 850 yards to match Jaylen Warren. I got him with 5 touchdowns, so 3 touchdowns less, 200 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. The receiving yards for our running backs, I have Jalen and Caleb really low, but it's not to say that Aaron won't throw to our running backs. I just think that's going to go to Gainwell. He can have close to 500 yards receiving by the end of the season as our third running back. He's a amazingly good receiving back out of the backfield. I think he'll eat up all the receptions from that running back room.
Yeah, I think you're right. I went super low on Caleb Johnson. I just don't trust him. 400 yards rushing, 2 rushing TDs, 100 yards receiving. I don't think he's there yet. I think whenever you see Gainwell come into the game, they're not running the ball, they're passing. I don't know if they're going to use him as a disguise, and I don't know, but I think Caleb Johnson, I haven't seen any of the practices with him, so I don't know if they're really throwing to him or not. I don't know if you trust a rookie right away to throw him the ball. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers, do you really trust a rookie to catch the ball? That's why I went super low on receiving yards. What do you have for receivers?
Yeah, this is where you and I really disagree, right? I got Metcalf, right, at 90 receptions on the season, 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a amazing season. I think he's going to get a significant amount of targets. At least that's what we've been seeing in camp so far. Metcalf is getting 50% plus of the targets in camp from Rodgers. And definitely when he gets towards the end zone, Rodgers is looking primarily at Metcalf's way. So I think he's going to have a really good year. The question is going to be what's going to be behind him. I don't know, but I think for Metcalf, he's going to put up some really good numbers.
Yeah, that's very optimistic of you. I have him almost half of that. 50 receptions, 600 yards receiving, 5 TDs receiving. If this is truly a running team that uses a tight ends, I don't know how you can leave Metcalf alone. He's going to get double teamed, maybe even triple teamed. He's the only receiver that they're going to go deep on. So if I was a defensive coordinator, comes in, right? If you're defensive coordinator, you'll have Calvin Austin with his 4.2 40 running by you like he did last season. Fine, then let him do that. But until I get the DK Metcalf is not going to be a one-on-one receiver. He's going to be double teamed. Calvin Austin maybe, but I don't think DK Metcalf. You leave him alone one-on-one. He's too tall. He's too strong. You just don't do that. So that's why I got him with 50 receptions. Ron, let's get to the questions. What do you think of the offseason roster moves for the Steelers?
Love. This offseason has been one of the best off seasons I think the Steelers have had. Normally, they don't do anything that's like surprising out of the norm. This year, I mean, trading for DK Metcalf and giving him that contract, this is just not something that they do. They did that. They traded Fitzpatrick, right? Who is a all-pro player. But to get Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, that's something that they normally do. They went for Aaron Rodgers, right? And got him in a decent contract, like a player-friendly contract. That's great. They re-signed, extended TJ Watt, made him the highest paid non-quarterback player. That's huge. So they've done a lot of good things. They brought in a lot of people throughout the season or the off season. They drafted really well. This off season is honestly one of the best off seasons that I've seen the Steelers have in a long, long time.
Yeah, I think they did a lot of smart moves.
All in. They are going for it. Now, whether or not it works, we'll see. But every move they made it's Tomlin and this team telling you we're trying to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but why did Vegas give them 8.5 wins if they'll win?
Well, I mean, the 8.5 came out early. It hasn't changed. That's what's been a little bit surprising, right? It hasn't moved.
Why is it surprising? Because you guys don't have your wide receiver room other than DK Metcalf is not.
And the schedule, it's a tough schedule,
right? It's a tough schedule. Yeah. I think the moves were smart, very smart. They gave Omar extension, right? So he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And Tomlin knows what he's doing. So I think they were smart. They went really. What was the cost of Aaron Rodgers?
Not much. I think it was I want to say $15 million, something like that. Not a lot. Not a huge contract.
Yeah, I mean it's only a 1-year deal. So yeah, I think I agree. I think they did some smart moves. Number 2, will Aaron Rodgers finish the season with the Steelers as starting quarterback?
Yes, right. I think he will be the starter. I think as long as he's healthy, he's going to be out there playing. I don't think he's going to do anything from a performance standpoint that'll warrant taking him out as a starter like you have in the middle of the season. I just think he's going to be solid. Everything we've seen so far in the offseason, is showing that he's a great leader, and excited to see what he can do.
Whoa. Did you say he's a great leader?
Oh, absolutely. He's been great.
That's a question mark for me because, like you said, I think he's going to do good on stat-wise, but by week 10, the team's going to hate him. Yes, he's going to be the starting quarterback, but Do you really want to catch passes from somebody who's throwing you under the bus?
We'll see.
Do you really want to catch passes from someone who, is anti-vaxxer? Some states are gonna. Some states are not gonna allow him.
The conspiracy theorist, but as long as they're winning, I think
Pat McAfee interviews coming up.
We'll see about that too. That's something we got to see. He's fallen in line. I'm quite surprised. Everything you hear about him has been the opposite of what we've seen so far. In Pittsburgh.
Listen, I know this sounds great. I just don't know how long that's gonna last.
Yeah,
that to me. That's why it's a question mark. Will he be the starting quarterback? I'm pretty sure if he doesn't get hurt, he will be. Will he be liked by this team? I got them losing 2 in a row. What's going to happen after, is he going to just go off the rails? Start Arthur Smith. I don't like his offense. We just don't know. It's a big, enigma. I don't know.
Yeah.
Question 3. Which player or position battle are you most looking to watch this preseason?
Well, that was Howard. But, he got hurt. And he's week to week at this point. I think all of Steeler Nation is disappointed that he got hurt. And is going to miss time because he's looked really good in camp. He's the guy we drafted, potentially the future. And I know the Steelers are going to draft another quarterback next year, but we wanted to see what he looked like, and now he's hurt. So if it's not him at this point, I want to see how the running back competition goes between Warren and Caleb Johnson. I want to see what the rookie looks like. That should be exciting too.
And my question is not so much position battle. I just want to know what they do in the punt return, because they changed the rules again
for kickoffs, right?
Kickoffs. So it's I want to see what the Steelers do, because if they get bad field position every time, I don't know if they're gonna increase their points per game. Giving Aaron Rodgers a better field, it's gonna improve their points per game. And that leads to the question number 4. They finished 20th, 21.9. That says 17, 21.9. What will be their average this season?
Yeah, I think that goes up. I think they're going to be, I'm not going to say that they're top 5 in scoring. That's not going to happen.
They're not going to be in the 30s.
No. But I think they can score 24 points a game. I think they can get to 24 points a game with this offense. And the defense, too, scoring some points, hopefully. I think they can get to 24 points a game, and that should be enough to not only make the playoffs, but make a decent run, potentially, if they can get to that number.
I think that 21.9 sounds a bit low, but then again, when I think about it, this is not the same schedule, and they struggled with the easy schedule last year. But again, they had Fields and Wilson, not Aaron Rodgers. So again, that's going to be a question mark for me. I don't know. That offensive line kind of scares me a little bit, because being average in that division is not good. You have to be dominant. Baltimore has a dominant offensive line. Cincinnati, Joe Burrows was on his back a lot, so I don't know, but they eventually fixed that. That's a big question mark for me.
Yeah, and just to look at the top teams last year: Detroit 33.2, Buffalo 30.9, Baltimore 30.5, Tampa 29.5, Commanders 28.5, Cincinnati 27.8, Eagles 27.2, Green Bay 27.1, and then a little bit of a drop off at 25, points per game. So even 24 is what I'm hoping for. That might not be enough, to be quite honest with you.
It's when you get into the playoffs, you go against teams that are high-scoring
teams. You got to be able to score some points. So
yeah, I don't know. That's a question mark for me. Where will their defense be ranked by the end of the season? Top 5 or top 10?
Top 5, potentially the best defense in the league. This is one of the best defense I've seen the Steelers have in a while, at least in terms of on paper with the players they have. Let's see if they can put it together. I think they'll do things differently this year. With the roster that they have, they'll blitz a lot more. I want to see them lead the league or be at least in top 5 in the league in sacks, top 5 in takeaways. I think they have the ability to do that. So top 5 for sure.
I think they'll start off top 5, but they'll end up top 10. They always start good with the defense. Every year that we've done this podcast, they always, but then at the end of the year, they just fall off. Why? Because teams figure them out, or they can't score enough points, so they have to do like
they're on the field often.
On the field too much.
TJ's playing with like an arm injury, or
then third down on the other team goes up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they don't do that. Yes, they'll stay top 5, but I don't think so. I think they end up top 10 at the end of the season. What is the right decision? Was it the right decision to extend TJ Watt's contract, make him the highest paid non-player in the league?
Yeah, you wouldn't think this is a question, or it would be a question among Steeler Nation fans, but yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people who were out there saying, let's not pay him that much. Because he's getting up there in age, and because we had some like talent behind him. But yes, it's the right thing to do. He is arguably the best defender in the NFL. His numbers show that over the last 6-7 seasons. You can compare them with anybody. He makes a huge impact on the game. He's someone that you have to game plan for, double team at times, and we'll see if teams will be able to do that this year with the additions that we have. I think it was definitely the right thing to do to extend him.
Did he get an extension after the 2021 season?
Yeah. This is his 3rd contract, I believe.
I don't know if he deserved all that money. I think he deserved an extension. I don't know if he deserved all that money.
You don't think he should be the highest paid defensive player, at least for now, until Parsons eventually get paid?
He had a good season 2021 with 22.5 sacks. Then he fell off 5.5 sacks. Then he bumped it up to 19. Got injured again last season. I need to see some consistency before I make him the highest player. Can you do this back-to-back years without getting hurt?
Yeah, but if you look at like his stats over the last like 5 or 6 seasons and compared to anyone else, he's leading in almost every category. Sacks, tackles, you name it, pass breakups. He's leading in a lot of statistical categories. So
yeah, no, I'm not saying that the stats don't back.
I think what you're arguing is the contract. Does he deserve that? Yes. I think the contracts themselves in the NFL
he had a good agent.
Yeah,
he had a good agent, and he maxed out. And he put the Steelers on blast. He was like, I'm not going to practice.
No, his ass would have been there.
Yeah, I just think that he handcuffed the Steelers and they had to pay him.
No, they were going to pay him anyways.
Okay, if you say so, then they made him the highest paid player, but yet they cheaped out on wide receivers.
Not really. DK Metcalf, they gave him a huge contract, right? You got to spend money in this league. It's not like other teams where you can, elect not to spend money. They're spending money, and they went out and got paid a receiver. It's just not the one we thought it was going to be with George Pickens, right? They traded for Metcalf and gave him the money.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the defense is going to be helped by this. I don't know if he deserves all that money. Who was the guy that before him with Browns? That Miles
Garrett?
Yeah, and then TJ took the highest paid non-quarterback contract.
Yeah. Yep. And so you got Parsons out there. He's probably going to get more than TJ, and then Hendrickson from the Bengals too. We'll see how much he gets, but he can argue too that listen, the last like 2 years I've given you like 15 plus sacks or something like that. So he's going to argue for his money too.
So which player will have a breakout performance this year?
Breakout performance this year. Wow, this one is a tough one. I can go in a lot of different directions. I will go with Joey Porter Jr., the cornerback. Like I said, he's been having a strong camp. I think it's all going to come together. They're not going to ask him necessarily to do too much and cover the best guy. They got Jalen Ramsey. They got Slay. They got other guys. So he's going to have a really, really good year, I think, this season. Plus, he wants to get paid. So,
yeah, I think it's going to be Calvin Austin. I think that when DK Metcalf is not open, he's going to go to Austin. I think he'll have a breakout season, and he'll be like, pay you my money, and then he'll be shipped immediately. Because that's how Steelers work. As soon as wide receiver gets too loud, ship him out. How many wins will this team have this season? You have them at 10.
yeah.
I have them at 9. So we both went over, technically. So there's your answer. Does this team have what it takes to win a postseason game?
Yes. I think
9 years.
Yes. I think finally, and all, like any postseason, it'll depend on the match. I think we're going to have some strong teams in the AFC this year, unfortunately. Especially with like how Denver is playing now.
Denver, the Chargers.
Yeah, a lot of up and coming teams, right? So it's not going to be easy at all. But I think they have what it takes defensively. They have enough offensively. If, knock on wood, Rodgers or Metcalf doesn't get hurt, and if their offensive line can gel, I think they'll have enough offensively to make a decent run. Now, what that run is might be one game, might be a 1-game run, but
I think they make the playoffs, but I don't see them winning a game, because unless they win the division and get a home playoff game, I just don't see them winning on the road.
Yeah,
and I don't see them winning around. They're not going to win Buffalo. They're going to win at Buffalo.
Can they win Denver or Chargers?
I mean, do you think Denver is going to win that division?
I honestly do.
I think Kansas City is going to win that division, and if they Steelers have to go on the road against Kansas City, I just don't know. First of all, they need to win that division to get a home playoff game. And then I give them more postseason chances.
Right.
I just can't picture that on the road. Even with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, I just can't see it. I'm sorry, I can't. Win the division, get a home game, playoff game, then we can talk.
Right.
I don't see that right now. I don't see, even if you said they come in second, I said they come in second, they need to win that division to get a home playoff game. Because, like you said, this AFC teams are going to be really, really hard.
Yeah.
And if you're on the road, well, you know what? Maybe if you get Houston, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, and even them, I think they'll have a bounce back year this year. I don't think they played that well last season.
No, they didn't. Okay, so we'll go to the last question. Will Mike Tomlin be on the hot seat if they fail to reach or win a playoff game?
I would certainly hope so. No, in Pittsburgh, they might extend him.
How many years now?
They might extend him, but
this is at what, 15? Year 15?
Yeah, no, I think it's like 17 or something like that. But I mean, 9 years without winning a playoff game. And you not spent the money necessarily, but you brought in Aaron Rodgers. You went out and signed DK Metcalf, gave him the big money. You built your defense. You got to win these games, right?
So you're saying that he can't blame the quarterback this year?
No, absolutely not. No, it's going to fall on him. At the end of the day, everything falls on him. You can't blame the quarterback any year.
What if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, let's say, middle of the season?
Doesn't matter. You still got your defense. You still got your offense. You got Mason Rudolph, who's familiar with Arthur Smith in the system. You got to be able to win a playoff game. If you go this entire season and again don't win a playoff game, what do you think is going to happen? You don't
Nothing.
Think
I think this is a big fat no. I think that 17 years, he hasn't had a losing record.
This off season, finally, even in the national media was like, wait a second here. What's going on with Mike Tomlin?
But I feel like that happens every year. The national media just go like, oh, he hasn't won a playoff game.
No, but I think every year he's been untouchable. Right? I think the national media has treated him as someone who's untouchable, who will always be there. You would never get rid. If the Steelers fired Mike Tomlin, he'd get a job within 2 minutes. That's what the national media always says, right? And that's truth to that. He would get a job right away, right? But I think to go this many seasons without a playoff win after putting all, this much investment in both sides of the ball, signing Aaron Rodgers, I mean, what does the owner do? Like, you cannot say it wouldn't be a humongous disappointment if they can't win a playoff game.
They gave the GM an extension. Last year, they gave Mike Tomlin an extension. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. This dude, I don't know what kind of voodoo magic he has on the owners. He just won't get fired.
Yeah, I guess so.
He just won't. I don't know.
It's funny because other coaches, if you look back in history, right, there's been plenty of coaches that made the playoffs and been fired, for not winning in the playoffs. Look how many coaches have not made it this far, but he gets the benefit of the doubt. But I can tell you the fans have grown tired of it over the last few seasons, for sure. And this season they're hopeful, and I can tell you with all the hope that they have, with the turnout that we've had at in the preseason so far, with people watching practices and stuff, these fans are excited, and if they disappoint, there's going to be, I don't know, I'm not saying he's going to be fired, but the noise will be extremely loud, calling for his resignation.
Yeah. Well, the noise, I feel like when they close the office, they hear the noise stops.
It's true.
Because this dude, year 18 coming up.
Yeah.
And he still has a job. I guess I was watching something to say that his wife owns a couple of stores in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
This dude, it's in the community. Maybe the fans don't like him, but everyone else loves him. So yeah, I don't see it. I think this is a big fat no. I think next year it'll be another quarterback. Maybe they draft one. I don't know. Is that guy any good?
That's the thing, right? It's hard to tell if you don't play. And right now, what we've seen is that he looked good, but looking good in practice is different than looking good in the game. So we wanted to see him in the preseason. Now he might not play at all in the preseason, which is, a huge disappointment.
Yeah. So, I know it's early. We don't know what the 53 roster is going to be like, but we already know, the starters are the starters no matter what. So lock it down. So you have them 10 wins, I have them 9 wins. So the Patriots need 10 wins to best the Steelers. Well, no, because you have them at 10. So they need to, it depends on how they finish.
Yeah.
Depends on how they finish. So now when we do the Patriots podcast.
You guys have an easy schedule. So, but that, I still think, I haven't seen any of your predictions or anything like that yet. I have a feeling you're going to be on the hype train, the Patriot hype train.
What Patriot hype train? What's the hype train?
8.5 is the hype train, right? 8.5 is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. This is a good roster. Patriots have a good roster.
How many teams, all right, go
good
from...
roster, easy schedule.
4 wins last year? 5 wins last year?
Yeah, the Commanders did it.
Okay, but that's the committee. They had Jaden Daniels, okay?
Now we have to...
Are you saying Drake May is Jaden Daniels?
Not according to Madden.
We'll talk about. I can't wait till we get to the Pats because we're going to have a huge, interesting conversation about Drake May when we get to the Patriots.
Drake May, I don't know what Josh McDaniels is going to ask him to do. Because remember, when he was with Tom Brady, it was a lot of ding and dunk. It wasn't, let me just go deep every play. So I think it's going to be more the same. I think people are going to be like, hey, but Drake May has a cannon. Why don't you use it? Because it's Josh McDaniels, and he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that. So, yeah. I don't... Statistically, or not statistically, but highlight-wise, you're not going to see a lot of highlights from Drake May. ESPN is going to have to work hard
I just want to see where you have him ranked, and I don't want to spoil anything yet. We'll save it in a couple weeks, but I want to see if you think he is a top 15, top 20, top 25, top 30. Like where do you have him ranked?
I don't know if I have a ranking for him, because how many games did he play last year? 10?
Yeah.
10 games? Yeah, I don't know. I have to look at his stats, but
And if he's not, right? Then if he's not in, let's say, the top 25, right? Because he's young, new coordinator, whatever the case might be, then how do you justify
easy schedule?
9 wins.
Easy schedule.
Okay. All right.
I already told you. I think when we look at it, it was New Orleans was in there.
It's really easy.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
I can see why Vegas has them favored in 11 games, because the schedule's so easy. So next week, we're going to talk about the New York Giants. I'm actually going to do some research on that, because I feel like Chris has been not really being honest when he does his reviews.
No, he's not.
He gives them like 10 wins, and you're like, what? You only got like 4 last year. How can it be 10 wins every
that's
year?
What I'm saying that about the Patriots.
Well, we know why. We know why. You can't compare the Patriots with the Giants.
I just did.
Because the Giants have no QBs.
I just did.
No QBs. Well, because you're a hater. We know that. But
you say
no QBs.
That's why the quarterback ranking is important. You're saying no quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, Drake May.
Drake May is better than Russell Wilson.
Drake May. How much better though?
Well,
how much better?
Well, we don't have a Malik Neighbors type.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's gonna make Wilson look a lot better. But then Kenny Pickens,
excuses. I don't want
George Pickens could have done the same thing.
Save it. I'm hearing.
I'm just
excuses.
saying. I know Chris is not here to defend, but Patriots will have more wins than the Giants.
You guys don't play the Giants, do you?
Yes, we do.
Oh gosh,
yes,
I can't wait. Wait for that.
I think it's a Thursday night game too.
Cannot wait for that.
Yeah, because
the battle of like the 5-team wins.
You haven't won a playoff game in 9 years. What are you talking about?
I cannot wait.
Going on 10 years.
Hey.
Yes,
we'll
that's what I thought. Yes, that's what I thought.
We got a winning season every year, though.
No, that's true. It's just too bad you go home every January. You go home. All right, so next week, I don't even know what episode. I think we're like up to 117, something like that. So next episode, New York Giants. New York Giant fans, get ready, because we're going to dissect this team. This might be Brian Daboll's last hurrah.
Maybe.
Not maybe. He better win. He better not come in last in that division. So until we speak again, I say peace.
Peace. All right, that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Thanks so much for all your support and listening today. If you got any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to email us at simsportsmedia@gmail.com. That's SYMSPORTSMEDIA@gmail.com. Peace.